We are good. I would like to call to order the Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 meeting of the Ninth Township Board. This is our annual report meeting, and that's where we receive and audit the annual report, Township Form 15 for 2025. And this meeting is usually done before the third Tuesday or after the first Monday in February. So we're at code right now. I'm going to call the members present. Eric Wagner here, Al Vayner here, Captain Martin, trustee, Brooke Hicks, and then we have our guest, Gina, and then I think we'll have some others that we'll mention. About the previous board meeting minutes from our January 6, 26 meeting. You have those in front of you, I believe. Did everybody have a chance to review? Yes. Were there any? I know you did. Yeah. Were there any additions, subtractions, corrections needed to be made for the minutes?
I see none. I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Second. And a second from Eric. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. So we get, there's a signed copy. You need two. So let's see that one. There are your two signed copies.
Can I get an unsigned one? Do you have any extra? I'll forget to say.
Like on your computer?
Yeah. So, whoops.
Okay. Board members will receive the audit and approve or deny any part of the proposed 2025 annual finance report that Catherine is giving us. And I believe we had this sent out ahead of time. I looked at it. Were there any questions from the board members? I didn't have any. Down. A lot. I mean, I think we did like 60 something.
So we were very fortunate last year that we were able to take some of those funds and move them to utilities. So, I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I was looking through it last night, kind of prepping, and I was like, you know, from my old job. That's a good problem to have, but I mean, it was like, it was up around 60 something for a couple of years in a row, pretty consistent.
Way back when we almost ran out of money a couple times, we never did. You never know what happened.
We over budget typically because we can of course move that to the other funds if the need gets greater. We know that utilities, I mean, we overestimated for utilities and still had to pull from burials, so.
The only other thing, Barrow, I noticed, I know we've asked before, but like when we see the breakdown of how we get out the funeral homes, that's the west side funeral homes, that's just the way it lays out.
We work with just about every funeral home.
They don't necessarily
within
have
our
to be,
county.
they don't have to be a night.
No.
Okay. I thought that was the case, but I thought I better do my due diligence, and
Yeah.
it wasn't much, it was a couple grand, but I was like, you know, I couldn't remember if we had a stipulation that they had to stay in the township with the funeral home.
No, because as you know, a lot of the families have, you know, their services have never in their family been at specific funeral homes.
Yeah.
And they all work well with us when it comes to like the children and other instances. So we try to include everybody. It just cannot be out of the state.
Yeah, oh,
So that's really the only stipulation.
That's what I thought. I just thought I'd better clarify since we had a public meeting and to go on the record with that,
Yes.
since I'm the cemetery guy. Were there any other questions about the report? I didn't really.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Got a motion and a second by Don. Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. 3-0. So, do we need to sign we need to sign one of these copies, or are you just?
There's a couple because these will get, so just spread them around. Please.
started getting negated last night. Not all boards get paid the same.
No, that's one of the issues with township government. Yeah.
I think we're the lowest, we're the best value in township government. Best
Hey,
county.
Considering how involved, probably.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I didn't.
You were like messed up. I had no idea. It looks like changing building tax on one house. I was like, for what?
I forgot on the chair.
All these meetings we have. Yeah. It's the same on the Board of Public Works. It's there, so your email said you need to come in and do all your new hire paperwork. I said,
Okay.
yeah. For what? You want to get paid? You get paid and you're an employee of the city now. I was like, what?
Oh, you're on the board of public works? Yeah, they get like $2,000.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's about the same year.
There's a handful of paid boards, like Parks Board,
Water
Water
department's
Department.
very bad. I know, yeah.
It's like this, so I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's not, you're not getting some money. But okay. Turn it over to Kat. She's gonna give a summary of the TA7 results for 2025. Let the record show that we have another guest, Chris Walsh.
So
And so we just,
I gave you guys at the first meeting, the TA7, just the independent form. It is also at the back end of the car. That goes through and dispersed and we've assisted and kind of how much time we spend doing what we're supposed to be doing.
and you made that change for the infant,
For the burials,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
so we got that fixed
Yes.
for what you wanted to address.
Mhm.
I see.
And then the poverty guidelines have been updated. You guys have already signed it because in order to get it to the commissioners, the board has to sign it.
Okay, pretty good.
They, on their
They will
meeting,
have their first February and then that will get sent out.
You all attend that, and it comes up, we don't have to show up. So we don't have to approve anything here, we're just reviewing.
yeah, you're just
Copy.
receiving the form, yeah.
Okay, so no questions from the board. Additional business as brought forth by the attendees of the meeting. Trustee will discuss any changes or updates that have been made to the 2026 Township Standards and Guidelines.
So you guys signed
Yeah,
that.
that's what we signed, so we're good, so there's no other changes, and you forwarded that to us. Did anybody have anything else to come before the board? I don't know. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, make sure everybody kind of keeps an eye on that Senate Bill 270 and the House Bill 1350, because today is the magical day in Indiana where the bills cross over, and the fact that you have a bill passed out of the House and the Senate that kind of have similar language. Just be mindful the next couple of weeks to be very interesting for what the impact on township government will be in Indiana. It seems like the Township Association is falling more in line behind the 270.
That's the legislators in order to come to an agreement to put it before the senators. And it passed unanimously. So that's a good sign moving over to the House. Hopefully that is the one they adopt. That in just basic terms is if the township trustee is not uploading their financials, if we're not doing the budget, if we're not doing our job, then our job's eliminated. The House bill, on the other hand, targets bigger townships such as ours with if you have only 20% outside of the city limits, then you will have to give control over to the city or the county government.
And
And
it's our choice on that.
I am waiting for definitive numbers of where we stand in that because it is very close. and it's too close for comfort for me. I mean, I went up there, Brooke and I did, when House Bill 1315 was being heard, and met with our local legislators. And it's a very scary bill because we know what we do in this office and what a huge impact it would make to reduce or to train somebody else to do what we do and recognize what's going on. And so we do not support House Bill 1315. It is going to be a detriment to townships across the state, but it could possibly be a detriment to Knight Township. We need the numbers. I don't have the GIS yet, so I'm waiting for our legislators to hand over.
The 270 also allows for mergers of underperforming or undersized. There's like a population size. So like under 270, Union would probably more likely have to merge with Perry, for example, to put it in Bedford County terms. Union have like 1,200 people, if that. And I think there's a yeah, there's a. It just depends. I think there's like a mission line on that. I read it last night again, but I get the two confused because there's also a fire department component. The way I read it, because we have a contract with an organization, which is good, am I correct in that?
No,
No.
we do not have our own fire department.
But I thought the
we have an
language,
interlocal.
but I mean, I thought as long as you have a contractor.
No, we have an interlocal agreement, and it
So
is criteria, and in both of those it states, if you have your own fire department, and we do not, we have an interlocal agreement.
That's in both bills?
Yes, and so, well, both criteria in the House bill. That is simply
Senate
the
bill
House
doesn't
bill.
have that.
No,
That's what I say.
no, the Senate bill, it feels like the House bill is more focused on fire protection and not the rest of it, which is what we primarily. And so I'm not sure why that is, but it saves those townships that have their own fire departments or their fire territories. So that's one of the criteria that's against us. And there's only 3 in it, in each one of them. So that's why.
So I just wanted to make sure that other board members and guests and people watching at home know that we've known ever since we've been on the board that this day was coming. Right? And I have a feeling when we have 2 bills kind of pass over with similar language, something's going to finally happen at the end of February. We just needed to mirror more of the Senate bill side. The Volunteer Fire Association, I texted a few of you, I believe, they've come out heavy on 270 website. Their social media has been running stories from different townships. They've been posting something every day for the past week. But you know, with over 40% of the population of Bedford County being here, our drawback is if the House language gets kind of tacked on, you know, to a Senate version, that's because there's that fire department stipulation, and I think it makes us act by the end of the year. But then the other good thing is with the Senate version, there's an opportunity for mergers for underperforming townships to where Knight Township could eventually look a little different. When you think about it that way, am I misspeaking there? Assume not. I assume we're good on snow removal and everything with the office.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did a good job. Were there any other business? Did any of our guests have anything from the board today? I know
Not yet.
Judy got a big day today. Congratulations on this afternoon filing. And Chris, you filed with us a couple of weeks ago, so congratulations. This is the most visitors, I think, ever. Well, now we have the visitors watching online. That's what irks me, you know, you townships and check the websites, they're not up to code on that in this county. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And
We tend to continuously make sure that we're within code and what is expected of us by State Board of Accounts, and our legislators. So,
You know, it's been almost, what was it, July 1st of last year, we had to come compliant.
yes,
And we're compliant with her leadership on making sure that the thing works, but just a simple YouTube page is all it takes to be. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but if you go around that, go to the websites, there's not being compliant, you know? And that's what makes me mad when you see language come through of a bill, that one little line that could affect somebody that's doing stuff the right way. Right? And the population numbers that we actually serve here, it's just frustrating because a few bad actors could have a negative impact on what we're doing here. But I'm off the soapbox. I gotta go to Indy Thursday for cemetery board, and I plan on going across the way when our meeting's over, because we got a small agenda. And if you need anything to delegate.
everybody say something, because when Brooke and I went up, we were the only ones representing Vanderburgh County. So, out of 8 townships in Vanderburgh County, we were the only ones there fighting for us to continue helping our citizens in our community. And we're not the only people with outrageous utility bills. And so it's somewhat heartbreaking.
How the bills are worded, where if you did have to roll back into your county or your city, I don't think there's gonna be the oversight to make sure that those funds stay in this part of the township. I mean, there's a little brief language, but it doesn't really detail it. And knowing larger budget stuff can get hidden. Sure. And it's like a shell game, and that would be my main concern if this did go away. I would want to see from the state for guidance for whether it's a city or county opportunity, that they're going to keep those funds committed to the poor relief in what used to be United Township.
But unfortunately, we noticed last year when legislation was passed, there was no plan. It was passed without any kind of plan for people to know what to anticipate, mainly those of us in this room, when we're trying to do what is asked of us without how the state wants it implemented. And if it's not already in the bill now, from what was done last year, the lack of thoroughness is what's hugely disappointing, because as you guys know, you were the board that had tried to figure out, because we've been very consistent with our board meetings for the past several years, and it became a challenge to try to get in a month's time everything that they were requiring of us before our budget was due, before we were forced to have our meetings before. So I don't anticipate them even having any kind of map or idea of how they're going to do it, because being in this office for as long as I have, part of what they're requiring is that me as a township trustee go in and create what they're telling us they need. They want me to build from our township their plan, when their plan isn't even described in the least bit. But that's what's gonna be my job if our township is negatively impacted. Not really the job of the township trustee. I plan on things in this office. I don't create other people's action plans.
Right. That's where I just think there's a lot of opportunity to improve this and get it better. It's frustrating. So just kind of be mindful that that's out there. We'll communicate with each other, changes. The township Friday call every Friday, and I'm sure they join it. They can't get on that. You know, our guests will make sure that you guys get the information, and you guys are on the ballot, and or soon to be on the ballot. Make sure that we keep the communication people just need to have a discussion, and what bothers me is the public that we serve, they don't have the direct line with the people that are making decisions. So we have to be the voice for those folks, whether they're Republican, Democrat, and whatever. We have to serve the quarterly side of it. And you don't think that for a fire contract, because we know we get that covered for the night out people, but I just think of the voices of the folks come towards me for assistance, that those folks aren't, their best interests aren't necessarily being conveyed up at the State House. I'll get off the soapbox now. Was there any other business to come before the board today?
I had nothing.
I had some Diet Coke, I'll talk whatever. Yeah. When you do radio for 17, 18 years, you could talk to the wall. And, or did you have anything down?
No.
We won't meet again until fall.
Right.
Unless there's an emergency or anything, so. You know, we won't get to see it off, so make sure we stay in contact on the email, especially the session ends at the end of February, so it's a short year. The next couple of weeks, it's almost like that last week, they start tacking stuff on. You almost have to have your head on a swivel and kind of keep, mindful between and all the eyes that are on it. But just really get into that 270 more than the 1530 or 1530. 1350. Because I think that that's the one that it appears the Township Association and the Volunteer Firemen Association are kind of lining up behind. That being said, we will schedule our next meeting when it gets closer to it. Hopefully we don't have to meet before then, but you never know. So do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I think the motion be adjourned.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
And Don.
I'll be back.